All right, guys, how's it going? Today, we're gonna be presenting Namelayer. I'm gonna pass it off to Andrew real quick.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good to see everybody here again this year. So briefly, what we're like a little bit of background, I guess, a little bit more about myself is in my role in the Handshake project generally has been the person that kind of helped put together the team, right? The design and the engineering and and things like that weren't necessarily my doing. I definitely don't take credit for any of that. And so I mean, when I started thinking about like kind of how to what value I could add most to kind of growing the Handshake ecosystem, I started thinking about kind of just doing that over again and leveraging those skills as much as possible. So yeah, Namelayer is kind of an example of that. It's an idea that's been kind of floating in the community for a few like maybe a few years now, and it's definitely something that I'm excited about. And Rob here is kind of spearheading the project. So I'm just going to introduce Namelayer and what and kind of like the problem statement, and then let Rob kind of take it from there. So yeah, I guess just the agenda here is focused around content creators. So I have a thesis around this, which is content creators will eat the world. We'll describe kind of the cold start problem that related to Handshake in the ecosystem, and then the solution in Namelayer. So content creators is an aspect, is like a trend, I guess, that I've been pretty obsessed about over the last year. And I have this kind of view that content creators will eat the world. And this may be, a lot of you guys might see this going around too. So I mean, I think this is it's a big paradigm shift in terms of how people identify themselves. And so, kind of today where we're at is, and this is, so if you meet somebody new, either at HandyCon or at a bar or an airport, within the first 2 minutes, people will tend to kind of anchor their identity around another concept. And today, a lot of that's done around nation states. So if you meet somebody at the airport, they might describe, hey, I'm Indian, I'm Australian, I'm from Irish, etc. And so the sense of belonging there really comes from where they live, right? In the past, this could have been related to the religion. With religions, just based on how people dressed in the past, when religions were the strongest form of identity anchor, it would be relatively obvious. And that's based the source of belonging with that is based on their belief. And before that, kind of in more ancient times, the identity anchor most people had was around their surname, around their blood. And so in each of these cases with nation states or religions or your bloodline, the second somebody said, hey, I'm Irish or I'm American or I'm Christian or I'm Lee or whoever, it meant it construed a lot of other aspects of their character to them, which is why these identity anchors are so useful. You'll start thinking about, hey, you'll start anchoring like their beliefs or values around one of these identity anchors. And so what's interesting that's happening now is, these transitions in identity anchors happens over, maybe hundreds or thousands of years. What you see with the younger generation oftentimes is that they'll anchor their kind of identity around the content creator that they follow. And you might have, nephews, cousins, or earlier siblings kind of do this too. They'll say like, they'll say, hey, I follow Tate or Rogan or Belmar or Kim Kardashian. And when they say these things, they don't necessarily just mean that they spend time watching them on YouTube or Instagram. They mean they actually like share their values and interest. So with Joe Rogan, with somebody that describes himself affiliated with Joe Rogan or part of the Rogan tribe, it might mean they're into UFC or like biohacking or ancient advanced civilizations or something of that sort. And same with Tate, Belmore, and Kardashian. And so, yeah, this is a very big cultural paradigm shift that I think is happening over time. And a subset of these content creators, not all of them, but a subset of them, have these paid content creator communities. So, Andrew Tate has one, Luke Belmar has one, even Jordan Peterson has one, and these paid communities are actually growing really fast. And to me, they are a substitute, the modern day internet substitute of two institutions that are relatively on the decline, which is in terms of like activity and community is the higher education and religious institutions. And so this is the digital social media enabled version of these. Yeah, I mean, I think these everything related to content creators is pretty disruptive. And part of that is related to the fact that they've kind of inverted the attention capture economics. When like right now, you'll see Mr. Beast is outselling Hershey's. Hershey's, a brand that's spent billions of dollars building up their brand over decades. Mr. Beast is outselling them, and with higher profit margins. And really, the reason behind that is that Mr. Beast gets paid to capture attention, whereas Hershey's has to pay for it, right, in the form of advertisement. So this is a very highly very disruptive kind of trend, which is why I think systematically content creators will go eat the world.
Sorry, give me a second.
Yeah, and so related to kind of Handshake, so Handshake has a bit, and how this relates to Handshake is, Handshake has this cold start problem, and it was really like by design supposed to be addressed by this massive airdrop to open source developers, but currently, for many different reasons, and that's outside the scope of this project, the claims have been relatively low. And so, and then, we all know, Handshake compared to many other naming systems, it offers more flexibility and features and things like that. And so, really what Namelayer is about is it's an attempt to kind of, fix the whole cold start problem by delivering solutions for content creator communities.
All right, so now I'm going to talk about the solution and how Namelayer will capitalize. So basically, Namelayer, if you want to bring it to two phrases, is multi-chain names and social tooling. So we'll allow people to stake HNS TLDs on multiple popular chains. We'll focus on content creator communities and create social tooling for them. And the eventual goal is to decentralize as much as possible. Maybe have a peer-to-peer service and a DAO. So the first phase we would like to do is a invite-only launch, then a public launch, and then we'll do decentralization. All right, so phase one. So we're going to focus on launching these tools and integrations to support the content creator registries. One big example is Luke Belmar's Capital Club. If you guys don't know what Capital Club is, it's like one of the biggest entrepreneurship networks currently. They have around 50,000 members and 400,000 on the wait list. So focusing on these sort of communities and giving them access to Handshake subdomains will allow them to, go into our community and really expand the project. So first off, we'll have these off-chain registry tools, and then we'll enable community members to set up profiles on them. So as you guys saw with HNS ID and things like that, they have profiles, right? So we'll do stuff similar to this, but we're going to focus on this back-end tooling for these content creators. So for example, let's say you are Luke Belmar and you want to issue subdomains to your community. How are you going to do that in a simple way, right? So we're going to fix these solutions. So for example, you're going to have a control access panel, right? You can see all your users and which ones have a domain and which ones do not. And there's going to be a very easy onboarding process where these people can mint names through your platform. So they don't need to go on my platform. They don't need to do all that. All their accounts and stuff are ready. All they have to do is like claim an SLD and then boom, they're put into the next step to create a social profile. From there onwards, later on, we would like to create like more, extensive features on the social profile. So we would have like metadata capabilities. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with POAPs, but for example, there's these badges that can be directly linked to your NFT and can tell, the content creator like exactly who you are, which events you've entered, what you've done throughout the community. It's kind of this data attached to your identity that can be used to, manage the community a lot better and help people network better as well. You can make group chats based on certain POAPs and things of this nature. Also, you could have ticketing via your ID. So these are sort of things we're thinking about, and we're gonna, get deeper into these concepts as we go on. So in phase 2, we're going to have open access to stake TLDs. So first of all, we had this private access just for these big communities. We're working directly and closely with them. And then afterwards, we're going to open staking to everyone, right? So, they're going to be able to issue on-chain SLDs for members. So on any chain, really. So like Optimism, Arbitrum, Blast, Ethereum, etc. And then, we're going to focus on customer authentication via DNS lookup, potentially also via, NFT standards also. And these names won't necessarily be decentralized. So they're going to have revoke features and stuff if people wish. Also, they have options to be decentralized also. But I think mainly these big influencers will want revoke features since it's going to be directly linked to their memberships, right? So let's say someone stops paying their membership or whatever, revoke their ID, things like that. So after this, we would like to decentralize and create a DAO governance token and things of that nature. So basically, we build up the platform, we get a ton of users from all these content creator communities. And then afterwards, we're going to allow them to participate in voting and like give hints and things like that on what to do with the protocol. So they're really a part of it. And we're going to try to create infrastructure that's as decentralized as possible. So at the start, it's going to be more centralized for the onboarding experience. And then afterwards, it's going to be, allow people to be more self-custodial a lot easier. So how to get involved? So, we're very early stages in this project. We just planned out all the products and things like that, trying to get a team together. So if you're interested in joining, please reach out. We're looking for developers, full stack, front end, smart contract, anything. We've got a few people in the pipeline already, but we're open to anyone. Potentially a community manager also would be great. So we're going to be doing a small seed investment from the Handshake community. It's going to be at a very good price comparison to all these other projects. So if you're interested, let us know. And we can go from there. Thank you. And check us out on namelayer.org. We just spun up the website a few days ago, and the Twitter at namelayer_. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, say them now and we'll get to answering. Okay, so let's have a look here. Andrew, do you see any questions?
No, I don't see any questions here. I think we got about 2 minutes is what the team here is saying, but probably enough time to take maybe 1 or 2 questions.
Okay. Someone said when whitelist. Not sure yet. We're still very early stages. You can subscribe for updates on the website, and we will eventually have some form of waitlist for staking. So if you want to, get prepared for that, I suggest you put in your email on the website.
So I see 2 questions. Will we allow emojis? Yes. And then how much is a small seed investment? Probably like 250 or less. And how do we get in touch? You can contact me or Rob on Twitter or Telegram.
Will you allow emojis too? I don't see why not. They're still TLDs, so that can work also. All right, any other questions? Oh, here's some more. Okay. All right, Andrew, you want me to answer that?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So the portable profiles, initially they're not going to be like focused on being portable. They're going to be for internal communities, because they have the revoke features and things like that, right? You can use your subdomain for other things, but it's going to be really focused on these communities. So basically, you have this profile, right? And all your metadata in regards to, that protocol or that platform is going to be there. So for example, like when you sign up to something, you have your name, you have your email, maybe you say like have a little resume thing, depending on if it's an entrepreneurial type network. All this sort of stuff will be stored on your profile. And eventually, as things become more and more on chain, let's say they do ticketing via the domain name and things like that, that can show up as a POAP on the profile. So for example, let's say you're at Capital Club and they have some meetup in, I don't know, Bali or something. Let's say to enter that event, you would use your profile, right, to scan in, and that would show up as a badge on your profile for later on. And then let's say Luke Belmar wants to do another event, but only for people who've attended 2 events prior. He can literally just query that really quickly in the dashboard that we have available and find that out and invite those people only directly to their profile. Later on, there's a lot of things we want to add, but yeah, at the start, we'll keep it very simple. Later on is going to be with this metadata stuff, ticketing, and potentially messaging for their internal systems or integrations with Discord. But that's way later.
Yeah, and another question. Yeah, this is really geared towards content creators, being a useful tool for content creators, and all the names will be rooted on Handshake. Now, if we start doing SLDs on chain and things like that, they could be on other chains. But content creator focused first. Leveraging Handshake technology or HNS, and then if we do SLDs, it could be on other chains. And if Handshake has on-chain SLDs by then, we obviously would prefer Handshake.
There's another question from Alex. Andrew, if you want to answer that. How do we get in touch regarding seed?
Oh yeah, I answered that one.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get in touch with me or Robert.
Cool. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it. I think we're over on time too. But
Cool. Thank you so much, guys. If you want to talk, we'll keep in touch. And thank you for attending, and hope to see you soon.